Hello everyone, this is Arceus462, and just kind of wanted to get in a little discussion about Qliphorts. Now, everybody seems to be hell-bent on just doing the OTK and pretty much nothing else. But what people don't realize is that there's a lot of cards to stop that now. I mean, there's the Trollish Aurora Paragon combo if you really wanted to get that trolly. There's Vanity's Emptiness, there's, oh I don't know, Noob Swarm Ophion, because that deck really is for noobs. Then again this card game kind of pretty much is built for noobs now, because they have to make everything super easy to play, and just make so that there's really no thinking in the game anymore. Just all about just set a few cards face down, summon a bunch of monsters, herp derp. You know, or summon one monster, set 5, that, or summon Mermail, set 5, good luck, have fun. You know, that's what the game has come down to. There's really no thinking anymore, unless you're in a hat mirror match. Then you really gotta think. And that's where most people usually lose, is because they haven't actually processed the thoughts of actually thinking yet. They've never learned how to think for themselves. And that's why Corner McDuffie was our world's winner. Well, not world's winner, our national winner, I'm sorry. I get too ahead of myself with the McDuffies. But, anyways, this is how I think Qliphorts is supposed to play. In my honest-to-God opinion. Is with basically 2 tools in your Pendulum Zone, and then a Qliphortress, and you just go at it. Now, is the deck still entirely consistent? No. But is it really consistent? Yes. Will you get tooled by turn 2 all the time? No. Will you win all the time? No. But is the deck retarded as hell? Yes. And now, let me kind of explain why. The deck has a lot going for it. It's the first straight-up Pendulum deck out there. And it's the only archetype of monsters based on the evils of Jewism. Go atheist. But yeah, I'm probably going to get a bunch of butthurt, superficial, religious cocksucker comments now. But anyways, I mean, come on. If you can't withstand someone else's honest-to-God opinion, then maybe you're just a little too fucked up to be on the internet. And maybe you should learn the little thing called self-control, and maybe a little acceptance. But for some reason, people can't learn acceptance. For some reason. Don't know why, they just seem to think that everything is built for them. That everything has to revolve on their little world. That everything just goes in place only for them. But before I get to my little soap opera box, let's go back to Qliphorts. Now this is the way you're supposed to play them. Or at least how I think you should play them. Can you still TK with the deck? Well, yes you can. That's why I still have 1 copy of Trampolinix. And a very basic OTK you can basically do is with limiter removal and Qliphort Shell. Because Shell is just ridiculous. The whole deck is ridiculous. But, does it just ultimately fail sometimes? Yeah, it does. What did I say? But, on that, while I'm still looking, is, you know, there's just some things that I just, for one reason, I seem to look more than other people, and then the pro players go, oh, wait a minute, this deck isn't as good as it was, but I guess. But I like Qliphorts, I really do. They can go both ways. They seem to have enough consistency built towards them. But man, if you don't have Qliphort tool by turn 2, you're hurting. If you don't have that tool at the start of turn 2, you are really hurt. And that's when the deck ultimately fails, is when you stop searching all the time. It's it's kind of like a mixed bag. It seems like it was an orgy between spellbooks for searching, the heretics and monarchs. Well, the heretics were the level 6s, and the monarchs were the level 7 and 8 and 10. So, and it doesn't really seem to be heavy on the exceed summoning. It just seems hell-bent on summoning themselves. But other than that, I for one, would I take this deck to a regionals if I could? Fuck yeah, I would. But there's a lot of decks that can counter it pretty hardcore. I mean, if your opponent's got a macro and a soul drain, you're pretty much fucked. You pretty much are. Or if you're facing against the mirror match and he's got his stuff out before you do, like a Majesty's Fiend and all that, that sucks. But other than that, I mean, because Archive and Geno really put in a lot of work. I mean, you can summon it, activate Qliphort, sacrifice the shell and whatnot, and all in all, it's just a very well-rounded deck. Is the deck balanced? I would say so. I mean, you can normal summon them, but they become little 1800 wieners. But in addition to that, whenever these cards are normal summoned, they're unaffected by the monster effects that whose original ranks or levels are equal to or lower than them. So you can't get rid of them with like a Grand Mole or a Evil Swarm Bahamut or per se like a Hyperion, but you can still run them over in battle with Honest. And then there's also the mirror match with limiter removal. There's also stuff like Forbidden Lands, and then there's Forbidden Dress if you really wanted to get into it. But Lance is another overall good card for them too. But I don't know what the exact ruling on them is in terms of being spells and monsters at the same time, but I think you technically could discard them for the cost of Curse and Steel, the Forbidden Spell. I don't know. The way I see it, you can, because they're technically both at the same time. But at the same time, I don't think you can, because from what I've seen, they're only spells when they're in the Pendulum Zone. But they act as monsters everywhere else. And that's why it always says, like, special summon from the extra deck, special summon from the deck, special summon from the hand, or special summon from the graveyard, you know? Or if you really wanted to get kinky, you could use DDR and bring one back, but... Oh no, I don't think that shit's really necessary, but the deck is good enough as it is. But other than that, well, these two games I'm featuring, or the one that I did feature, was basically what happened is the other guy was a scrub, and, or at least I don't want to say that he was a bad player, but he was using a bad deck, and I was able to smash him with my Qliphorts. Mind you that I started off pretty good too, like this game. I mean, this other game here that I was hurting a little bit, maybe a little bit. But other than that, I really wasn't fazed by his plays at all. Because I do this real moron thing, it's called thinking. But other than that, here's where I smash him in the face with like the limiter removal combo like I was talking about. Like I said, you don't necessarily need to pendulum summon a bunch of fucking monsters to get your fucking OTK going. But the thing is that Qliphorts are kind of interesting. They all opt the Genome and Archive are the heretic-based cards of the deck, where you can go ahead and then sack them, and then they get their effects regardless if they were banished or not. Because the keyword says tributed. Tributed. So it doesn't matter if it was sent to the graveyard or not. It doesn't matter. You may lose it in the banish zone, but hey, there's always cards like, oh, I don't know, Burial from a Different Dimension, Merit Skull Dig, and all that fun stuff. it's basically a player's preference on this deck. Could you play without an extra deck? By all means you can, but it's just helpful to have it. You don't really necessarily need a full extra deck either. I mean, you can just go out with a playset of YUGIOH Cowboys and be done with it. But this is kind of my build that I would personally suggest you try out. But other than that, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of buttons here. But yeah, but jeez, I can't stop saying that word. Good fucking god. Anyways, so this deck is just utterly insane. But does it have consistency issues? Moderately not well off. But other than that, the reason why I only play one Odd Eyes and one Trampolinix before anyone asks is because of the fact you're not really hell-bent on getting the OTK going. Your whole idea, concept in this variant is just get 2 tools in your Pendulum Zone, start searching a bunch of fucking cards as quickly as possible. Now, does this deck need to work? By all means, yes it does. If I were to change a couple of cards, maybe I'll change a couple of Pot of Dualities, maybe, but I like them. The only difference would be is that I would probably get rid of like one Pot of Duality for a Qliphort, as it's called now, and then I would get rid of another one for like an Odd Eyes. That or fit room for like a Caius or Majesty's Fiend, a Funghorn, which that card is pretty boss, by the way. It eats up through your opponent's back row or it baits out their answers. Especially against Qliphorts, because you summon this first, and you can go, oh okay, Archive, bounce back to Ophion. You can't do shit about it. Oh, and I have Funghorn. You're gonna Phoenix Chain that, you're gonna break this, kill it, you're gonna solemn it, what? Because it has to go back to my hand no matter what. So, either you lose everything, or I'm going to see if you have any reliable answers or not. Otherwise, this gigantic fucking Mega Ultra Chicken's gonna smack you in the face for 2100. And then some. But, also, I have like all the removal hate in here. Mainly reason because I fear the mirror matches that are like graveyard heavy based decks. Because I don't really care if my stuff really gets banished, as long as I am able to maintain a field presence, like Vanity's Fiend, or a Majesty's Fiend, or just flat out Apple Qliphort killer, you know, then I just win. Banisher is really just for like the mirror matches and graveyard based decks, like Saxborn, Zombies, and Sylvans, that's still a deck. In case you people have actually forgotten that it was a thing. It also hurts Evil Swarms a little bit, but not too much. It shuts off Kirkion for later plays, but also at the same time they can get around it easily because obviously you wouldn't side that weak little weenie against them, but you would side it against like the Qliphorts if you're going first. But if you're going second, your safer bet would be like Majesty's Fiend, because you want to stop your opponent from doing anything. Because this is basically what this is what this game is all about, really. But other than that, before this goes on to be like a marathon of speech, I'm just gonna end it here. What do you guys think of Qliphorts, and what would you honestly? How would you build them? And I'll go ahead and see you guys later.